The big question. It just feels to me that you have an intuition, and I don't know how else to express it. For example, in that recognition that Delysia and others really did focus on the learning. So I suppose I'm really curious about that excitement that you feel when you're in the presence of someone, as Delysia does, which focuses on the other as a learner.
Yes, absolutely. I think that what I recognize is people who are genuinely engaged in the learner and the knowledge. They have a passion both for the person who's doing the learning, and they have a passion for the knowledge. One is no more important than the other. It's seamless.
Okay.
And that is, it's not difficult to perceive because it's pretty obvious.
Okay, yeah. And you've seen this, again, was it Alicia? Alice? No.
Anissa.
Anissa. Because I think Anissa was one of your...
Oh, not directly.
No? Okay.
I've had an indirect influence on Anissa. I haven't had much direct influence.
Okay. But I just felt, again, talking with Delysia, that there was a real love of learning and also the knowledge as well.
Yes.
And it's with everybody, as I say, that I've seen.
Yes, because that's what I see in Delysia, it's what I see in Shabnam, it's what I see in Linda,
Okay. Yeah.
it's what I see in Noreen.
Right. So what, I think, again, it's just the last question before this packs in, but it's just this feeling of, there is something so important, I think, in that recognition of yours. Yeah, and then the sustained relationship to enable the other to bring that knowledge and share it. Now, when I ask about you writing this or making this public, although you've published such a lot, this isn't an area that you've published in.
Never written a word about it.
Have you any idea why that is or not? Is it?
If I can say something, I think a lot of this recognition and relation of Joan's as well is, yes, she gets it from the plebs, from the lower people. But it's not easy to get from the senior management, that recognition. And I think Joan's journey, to a large extent, I know with myself, and I can talk from, at one stage when I was the director of the unit, and Joan worked under me, was Joan was constantly seeking for that same recognition and relation with the people that she reports to, in terms of her senior management, in terms of people that are in management. And quite often that is not coming. That is not forthcoming. Okay,
so now that makes good sense, because many of us have lived with that kind of tension. So that might be part of the explanation of why, for example, something that everybody else is seeing you do well, but you're not seeing the affirmation from the senior management. So you don't really feel that it's worthwhile making public. I see.
Yes, to a certain extent, Jack, although I've never actually, and even when I interrogate it, I have written about the things I've written about because they were just overtly in my face.
Okay.
And yes, I'll get round to talking about it. And I'd just like to say, I think that without wanting to be defensive, this isn't so much about, yes, there's a certain amount of ego involved. But for me, my sadness, and it is a very deep sadness, is that the institution would gain so much from the recognition of the excellence of the teaching in this institution. And that makes me very deeply sad. And so when we do have these wins, I'm enormously gratified. It really is. I mean, when Anissa gets a teaching award, when the lights come on for Delysia, I mean, she said the most wonderful thing to me at Hiltasa, and I do want to share it with you. She said to me, I was looking at my 2005 paper the other day, and then I looked at 2006, and then I looked at Stellenbosch, and then I looked at 2007. She said, no, it's all there. So I said, yes, Delysia, how many times have I told you that? And we had a wonderful giggle about it.
Yeah, it is.
And it is.
No, it's what you were saying, isn't it? That all that kind of knowledge is there.
It's all there.
So it's now a case of really bringing that, and like we've been stressing with the workshops, literally into the public domain.
But it was wonderful to have Delysia actually acknowledge that she does have the knowledge and the understanding and the insight that is worthy of this doctorate.
That's great.
That was a huge moment for me. It really was.
Now that's it.